So is there a way to wear a slip dress, ripped fishnets, and combat boots when you're over 40 and look powerful instead of like you're dressing up? So I grew up in the 90s, and although goth would definitely be my style of choice, I was influenced by a lot of the Riot Grrrl, Kinderwhore. There were a lot of 90s female-fronted bands with women who were unapologetically brass about who they were, and I was attracted to that. As someone who always considered myself a little bit rebellious and a little bit wild, those personalities really grabbed me. And the whole Kinderwhore aesthetic of the 90s was something that I gravitated to and incorporated a mixture of that with my goth looks. The thing about Kinderwhore is it was a look kind of based in youth and a kind of a childlike innocence played into with a sexuality. Baby doll looks, ripped tight, bare skin, that I don't give a fuck attitude, all mixed in with pastel and bows. And I loved the juxtaposition between the two. Now as a grown woman, I still feel that spark, I still feel that fire, but I'm also over 40, closer to 50. So I want to dress in a way that respects my age, my body, my confidence, and my sort of evolved perspective, right? So how can we reinterpret this subculture style for something that respects people over 40? Can we be elder whore? No, that doesn't work. Kinder elders? I don't know. Kinderwhore does not neither word kinder or whore are really words that you use when you're an adult over 40. So let's figure out how to make this happen. I was goth through and through, but I also grew up in the age of Babes in Toyland, Hole, L7, Bikini Kill, all of those kind of bands that really had strong female characters. And I would even throw Garbage in there with Shirley Manson, who really, although was a mainstream pop artist, was somebody that a lot of us goth girls really enjoyed and really admired in the 90s. And with bands like Babes in Toyland and L7, it wasn't necessarily the music I was listening to the most, but it was their energy that really caught my attention. So Kinderwhore aesthetics really came from that Babes in Toyland, Hole, Courtney Love obviously really bringing it to the spotlight. There's been fashion shows since there of fashion designers who are designing Kinderwhore style clothing. It's become quite a thing, and I do remember it was always about seeing those girls in either like a pastel thrifted vintage dress that was kind of fit loosely or maybe too tight, one of the two, or it was the slip dress that you wore with like black bra and black fishnets and looked sort of like you half stumbled out of bed. So obviously in the 90s, this was before the fashion designers were making Kinderwhore clothes, and this was even before Hot Topic was even around. So back in the DIY days of goth, which I'm so excited to hear is becoming way more popular nowadays. Watching all the baby bats go out and buy thrifted clothes and put them together into cool styles really just makes me so happy. But yeah, in the 90s, that was where we shopped. And in the thrift stores, there were actually still dresses from the 60s and stuff too. Like now I go in and it's like maybe you can find the 90s clothes, like that's 30 years earlier. In the 90s, I guess 60s were 30 years earlier. So you could still find some old 60s dresses actually in thrift stores like Savers and Goodwill. Now you have to kind of really go to a vintage store to find that. So you get those there. You would get slips, all kinds of colors, and it was all kinds of colors, all kinds of styles. I also loved little nightgowns with bows and things. You could work those in with a pair of fishnets and some panties and you're good to go, right? And it was all about rebellion. It was all about messy hair and looking like you just woke up and didn't really give a shit, some smeared eyeliner on your cheek. And this was kind of pre-social media climate. I actually belonged to a Yahoo group called Kinderwhore. It was literally just a group of girls who would post pictures of ourselves to each other in all of our little Kinderwhore looks, taking photos in the bathroom, you know, like laid out in the tub. And I loved those girls, and I wish I knew where they were now, because I felt like at the time I was a little older and I was part of that group. This was like 98, so it was, you know, kind of towards the 2000s, and Yeah, Yahoo Kinderwhore group was like my favorite place to be. If there are ever any of those girls out there, where are you? There was one girl I was so close with. And the funny thing is I took so many Kinderwhore slutty photos during that time that they were all uploaded on bad digital cameras. You know, they're totally out of focus. And who knows where those pictures are today? Who knows what computer they're on somewhere? So I wish I could show you more pictures from that era, but alas, a lot of us lost a lot of that media. So like I said, it was like a Kinderwhore goth hybrid look that I really wanted to go for. I kind of feel like it's sort of a part of a precursor to pastel goth. I know when we think of pastel goth a lot, we think of like Harajuku style, kawaii, but I also feel that like during Kinderwhore times, when I wanted to mix that into my goth clothes, the best thing to do was show up at a goth club in a white slip with black fishnets underneath. Because most of the people in the room were wearing black or red, and then there I was in my slip dress, all like, what? So definitely inspired me to always buy like pastel dresses and things to wear to the club because, I don't know, I just like to stand out. Sure, I was a bit of a narcissist and I was kind of looking for attention all the time, but also embraced the beauty of mixing the two cultures together and the two looks. But rebellion doesn't really have an age limit. I think it evolves. I know that after the 90s, Y2K didn't really have that feminist forward sort of feeling going on. It was a little bit more wafy, a little bit more skinny, a little bit more a little bit more slutty, I guess, but like without that sort of power behind it. At least it felt like that. But now more than ever, I see women embracing their power, gender being questioned, and the things that just really, to me, tie together to what Kinderwhore, to what Riot Grrrl, to what all of that feminist movement in the 90s was about. And even as someone over 40, we still love to go thrifting because it's not just about youthful finding something DIY, but it's also about style building on individuality and who we are, and the enduring appeal of feminist fashion, of breaking free from the norms, of being unapologetic about your sexuality, whatever age you are, and that enduring love for thrifting, that you can envelop your own personal style building going on. That is something that never ages out of us. So how do we dress these things in more mature ways? The slip dress. Now, back in the day, it was great to be wearing the slip dress with a little bit of your undies showing and ripped tights all the way up to your neck. But now, how do you make that work? Can we layer it with a structured jacket or a pair of pants? Maybe a long skirt, give it a boho look, or maybe pair it with some mid boots, some dark tights. Does an elder in a slip dress look like grandma going to pick up the paper outside? Do I have to wear a turtleneck under my slip dress? Is that too much skin up here for older folk? Fishnets and stockings. Can you be over 40, over 50, and still have ripped tights on? I think it still works. Can you go crazy like giant hold fishnets? Does that still hold up at that age? Or as we age, is that when we can go buy those super expensive, cool design tights that everybody has? In fact, I still get amazed when I go on Amazon and see how many different styles of tights there are available. Can I tell you in the 90s how hard we looked for tights, for different size fishnets to get those big hole ones? And nowadays, now there's just so many patterns on tights, I just can't even believe it. So can we work that into there without looking like a clown? And Mary Janes, they're kind of like a schoolgirl look. After 40, are we still schoolgirls? Can we still pull those off? Do we have to, can we wear them with like little lace socks? I think it's a style that has kind of grown with the people who've aged with it, and maybe it still works. The older I get, the more I know style is about storytelling. When you're young, it's about finding your identity and really defining who you are. And as you age, you start to know that you are more than your clothes. You are more than all of the things that make you. And therefore, your style is really giving people who you are, a little bit of who you are. Kinderwhore aesthetic was always about reclaiming your power, whether through your sexuality, your rage, your fragility, or all three put together. And as a woman over 40, that whole feeling has never left. It's just sort of deepened and become more grounded. I don't think I'm too old to be Kinderwhore. I'm just old enough to do it in a different way. I'm not really trying to relive my youth. I'm dressing for the woman I am now and all the stories that made me who I am now, which include Kinderwhore. So let me know if this resonated with you at all. Do you feel that your style has had to change over the years to be more appropriate for who you are as you age? Or do you feel that at this point, age appropriate is all over the place now? You can wear pretty much anything at any age and still be who you are. Because honestly, it really doesn't matter as long as you feel comfortable and you're happy with who you are and you feel confident. That is the key for everything. So in the end, do what you want, do what feels comfortable, and leave me a comment, like and subscribe. I want to talk more about this. Show me some of your looks that might be a Kinderwhore interpretation for the age, and let me know any ideas you have to think of something that I can wear that can bring them both together. And of course, check out our clothing line, Bones in Black. We have all kinds of t-shirts and things, prints and arts, because we are a creative artist group over here. And we'll see you in the next one, and we'll see you on the dance floor.